Okay, it looks like everybody is still getting back from their holiday break. So, hi everybody, my name is Noah. I'm one of the educators with Shortcuts, and today we're going to be doing merging clients in our basic classroom session. So, hopefully, you're already familiar with this or you know how important it is to keep a clean database in your Shortcut system. It makes searching for customers, it makes saving information that much faster if your database is running smoothly. So if you haven't used that feature in Shortcuts, that's what we're going to talk about. Now, the first things first is we always do this introduction in all of our classroom sessions. We are recording this session, so it's going to be about 20 minutes. It's not going to be too long. And my microphone is recording. Everybody else's microphone is turned off, but we will allow questions at the end if you have any follow-ups. And of course, if you have to leave early for whatever reason, that's okay because we will send a copy of this recording to everybody. So let's jump right into it. So merging clients in Shortcuts. How does it work? What's the functionality? How do you resolve duplicates? So these are some tips that are going to help you speed up your database, your shortcut system. So this is something we actually recommend making part of your end of day procedure if you're not already using it. So if you have a duplicate client, you may not notice it at first, but if you've been using Shortcuts for a long time, it starts to slow down the program because Shortcuts ends up searching for the same customer or multiple versions of the same customer, and maybe you end up with dozens, if not hundreds, of potential duplicates. So, what we want to do is be able to not just combine customers, but comb through the data and make sure you don't accidentally merge the wrong clients, such as if you actually have two people named John Smith, you don't accidentally want to just tell Shortcuts there's only one person. So, you want to be able to sort through that. You want to be able to save histories. So, if you have a customer that has some historical data with a number of visits and then another customer that's the same customer but they have a separate file with different histories, different notes, you don't want to lose that information. So Shortcuts does allow you to do that. So once these duplicates are resolved, it's going to speed up your system, it's going to speed up your searches, and of course it optimizes your database. Now, sometimes the other way that you end up with a duplicate isn't necessarily the front desk's fault. It would be more of if a customer made an online appointment, they created a new account, and then they had already been visitors in the salon. So Shortcuts will actually have a duplicate card because the first time a customer signs up online, Shortcuts doesn't necessarily know that this is the same person that already visits your site. That's why it will allow a customer to make a duplicate card. So how do you merge them? The best way to learn is by seeing it in action. So let's actually take a look. I'm going to get out of the presentation for a moment and launch Shortcuts. So I have Shortcuts open already. So let's go through the steps. So again, this should be part of everybody's end of day process. And I don't want you to try to merge hundreds of clients each night. If anything, you really should merge just 10 or 12 people every night. So even if you have a large list of duplicate customers, in a matter of a few days or a couple of weeks, you will have sorted through hundreds of people. So the steps to do. So at the end of the day, after you've checked out your customers, after you've closed out the registers, I want you to do these steps. I want you to go to your Clients button, and we're under the Main tab, Clients, and at the bottom of the screen, you would press Merge. Now, Shortcuts will show me sometimes customers that it has found previously that have duplicates. But every night, if you're merging clients, I want you to do a fresh search. So ignore the current list, and on the bottom left, follow these steps. Go to the search button. And Shortcuts will say, I'm going to clear the current list, and that's fine. So you have a number of options at the top. Do we want to match on first name, last name, cell phone, or any number or email address? Start with the basics. Tell Shortcuts, I want to look for customers that have a matching first and last name. So you're going to uncheck cell and uncheck any phone number. So just start with first and last name. The other thing that you're going to do is have a small window that you're going to search through. So on the pull down menu, you're going to start with 0 to 3 months ago. And you are going to leave perform duplicate checking on clients previously excluded from each other. Leave that off. So you're telling Shortcuts, okay, I want to search for the most recent duplicates in the last 3 months that have a matching first and last name. Something very basic. So when I press the search button, Shortcuts finds me these customers. Now in this case, this is my test database. I don't have too many duplicates, but let's go through the process. So Shortcut says, I found a couple of people. Let's take a look at them. So I'll press done. And what Shortcuts will show you is the customer. So it shows you a grouping of customers, usually 2 at a time. Sometimes you may have duplicates where Shortcuts will show you 5 names or more. But in this case, it usually finds a match of just 2 people. So the first grouping is for Tim, the second grouping is for me. And the reason Shortcuts does this is because it wants you to confirm which client card do you want to keep and which one do you want to make inactive. So it will show you what are the phone numbers we're looking at, what are the emails we're looking at, how many visits has the duplicate had or has the original client had. So Shortcuts wants to preserve one of these cards. It calls it the master or the main card. So the very first card for Tim, Shortcuts thinks this is his original card. This is the client you want to keep. The duplicate is underneath it. And there's a checkbox that says merge. When I tell Shortcuts to merge the second one, what it will do is it will inactivate the second card. It will ignore any phone numbers, any emails associated with it. However, any histories or visits that the duplicate had will get pushed up to the main card. So you don't lose any historical data. They just instead get pushed up. But as you're looking through the information, you notice that the duplicate has a matching phone number or actually has an updated phone number or an updated email address. So normally you would lose that information unless you right-click on the contact information. And in this case, I know the second duplicate number is the one I actually want to keep. So I want to override the phone number on the master. So I will right-click on the phone for the duplicate, and I will say copy this phone number up to the master. And Shortcuts will confirm, do you want to replace one number with the other? Yes, I do. So now that I've done that, I can go to the next customer. So in this case, I'm reviewing it. I see, yep, it looks like it's a matching name, a matching number. I don't mind losing the duplicate phone number because that's an older number. So again, I can click merge. So if my list was super long, I had perhaps dozens, if not hundreds, of potential duplicate clients, and you've already decided that you're going to merge the first 10 or 12 people. For everybody else, what I want you to do is uncheck master and make sure merge is not selected. And Shortcuts is going to ignore those people until you do another search. So again, review the customer names, choose what you want to keep, select master and then merge. And then at the bottom of the screen on the bottom right, if I press merge, Shortcuts will ask me, am I sure I want to merge this? Because once I start the process, Shortcuts will merge the clients and then it will restart Shortcuts. That's how you know the process is finished. Shortcuts will actually exit. So make this a part of your end of day process. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And Shortcuts will warn you why you should do this. You never want to mess around with live data. So we always recommend doing this after your business hours. So that's why we do this after we've checked everybody out on our end of day. So Shortcuts again is merging those duplicates and there it is. It's finished. So then I would launch Shortcuts again. Once it's done. So then tomorrow, again, I would have my normal business day, do my normal end of day, cash everybody out, check out all my clients. And then after I do all that, I would start the process over again. So again, I'll go to the clients button. I'll do a merge at the bottom of the screen, and I will do a fresh search. Now, after you've been doing this a day or two, when you search, you're not going to find any other duplicates. So again, I'll press search. Now I'm going to open up the window that I'm searching through. So then I'll search 3 to 6 months and then do a search. So now I found new duplicates. So at some point, you're going to get to the point where you've been searching 3-month windows all the way until you go to last 12 months. So now Shortcuts is just going to search for the entire year if there were any duplicates that you had missed. So always start small, especially if you have dozens or hundreds of duplicates to sort through. Start with the smallest window, 0 to 3 months, and little by little go backwards. So let's go back to the presentation. So those are the actual steps to merge your clients. Now, I actually had a customer that runs a school, and they actually had thousands of duplicate clients. And the reason for that is because students would check in every customer as a new customer. They would never search for their name. They would never search for their phone number. They would just add a new client, same first name, same last name, and they ended up with thousands. And their system started to slow down a little. So I walked them through the process, and they trained their staff. Okay, this is how we're going to clean up our database. At the end of each student's day, they're going to take just 5 minutes and just merge however many clients they can in those 5 and tell Shortcuts to ignore the rest. So there's a number of things that you can do that can also help keep the system running smoothly. So in addition to merging clients, you might want to make clients that haven't visited you in a number of years, make them inactive. And to do that, you have to go to your system settings. So you'd go to Setup Configuration, and then I'm actually going to show you in just a moment, where do you remove non-returning clients? So if this customer doesn't have a future visit date and hasn't been in X number of years, the next time Shortcuts exits, it will ask you, okay, do you want to run system maintenance now? This is where Shortcuts will make all those clients inactive. So let's go through the steps. So again, I'll get out of the presentation, back to Shortcuts. So if I want to set perhaps 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, I will go to Setup, Configuration, and then on the left side, I'm going to the General button, the General tab, and I'm going down to Data Privacy. And in Data Privacy, there is a tile here that says Remove Non-Returning Clients after blank year. So in this case, I'm going to set it to 3 years. If I have a customer that hasn't visited me in 3 years and has no future visits, this is when I want to remove them or make their cards inactive. So I'll press Done. Once I make my adjustment, the next time I go to exit Shortcuts, or usually every 30 to 60 days, depending on what your setting is, whenever you go to exit Shortcuts, you may get this window that says System Maintenance. In this case, it's been about 200 days since I last ran system maintenance. If I press Run Now, then Shortcuts is going to search for those customers that haven't visited me in 3 years and make them inactive. So if you ever see this window, that's part of what the process does, is it tries to optimize your system, make sure it's running optimally. So I'll cancel that now, but that's when you should press that button. So let's go back. So that's 2 things you can be doing to speed up your system: merging your clients and then telling Shortcuts to make any old clients inactive if they haven't visited. So those are some of the basics, really, for system maintenance. So now you know how to resolve your duplicates, you know how to search through the duplicates, preserve the information you want to keep, and other tips on keeping your system running. So this is the part where we open up the floor for questions. So if anybody has a question, if you're on the GoToWebinar toolbar, there is a questions bar on the right side. Go ahead and type in your question there. or type it in on the chat window. I'm going to bring up the question toolbar on my side so I can see. Now, if you're watching this video after the fact, so a number of people sign up and they'll watch it on YouTube later today. If you have a follow-up question on merging, or if you're not sure on a step, or you're having any other issues, do reach out to us. Of course, our support is here 24/7, but our education team does get back to its messages. So if you message us or customer care, we will get back to you. And that includes social media. So we do check our Facebook, we do check our Instagram. Okay, I'm checking. I don't think we have any questions. Okay, well, it was a pretty straightforward lesson for today. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Oh, I think somebody does have a question. Stand by. Let me expand the window so I can see what the question is. How do you remove an employee? That's a good question. So let's say you have a staff member that's no longer with you. So I'll get out of the presentation. So on the right side, we're going to go to Setup, Employees. Now, you don't delete people, you don't delete customers, you don't delete staff. You just make them inactive so shortcuts can hide them. And the reason for that is because any historical data, any sales data, transactions, you want to make sure you have a log of that. But in this case, you're going to search for the name of the employee, whoever that is, and next to the name of the employee, there's a checkbox that says status is active. If you uncheck that, this person will disappear from your appointment book, and whatever permissions they had will also be disabled. So if Sam here was a stylist or receptionist, if I uncheck is active and then I exit shortcuts, the next time I launch it, Sam won't have any security permissions or PIN permissions. And of course, any permissions that he had online will also be deactivated. Okay, so that's how you would do that. Okay, are there any other questions? And I'll check the chat window. I don't think we have any other questions. Okay. So if you're watching this video after the fact, and let's say you want to upgrade your version of Shortcuts, because I am running Shortcuts 8.1, so my build may look a little bit different than your build. So if you want to get the newest version, reach out to our customer care team. We can schedule you for an upgrade. Also, if you're thinking about signing up for one of our tiers so that you can get access to our SMS confirmations or cloud services or something else, do let us know. And again, ask us any follow-up questions on social media because we do check that. So thank you all for attending. I hope you enjoyed this classroom session, and I'll see you in the next class.